Hi everybody, this is FC7 and today I'm going to be sharing my playthrough of the Paladin Epic 2.0. This was completed in May of 2022, and during this playthrough I will be discussing various things about the quest and some of my thoughts about it, good or bad, spilling over into the commentary. So I am doing this on the live servers, so anybody on progression, this video may not be for you. I am massively over-leveled for this quest. This is more for helping people get the achievement and helping with locations and recipes. So the quest starts here in the Halls of Honor, where the 1.5 ended, and you just tell Irak, tell me about your master. This will lead you up to the next step, which is in the Plane of Sky. And the walkthrough I was using said that this step is optional. I don't know that for sure, but because the quest is so buggy that I would recommend doing this step. So I originally filmed this in 2018, this first part of the video. And there has been a small change to this step of the quest that I will talk about later on in the video, but I will put a timestamp in the description. This step is for spawning in Teir'Dal on the 4th island. You need to give Dragog Steelhand 500 platinum, and he will spawn in Teir'Dal on the 4th island, which is Pegasus Island. So just ask what long journey, and it should start the quest. So this should lead you to the next step, which is in northern Felwithe. The quest NPC is named Gairun Starforge. He's just up to the left, across the bridge. Then you ask him what odd occurrences after you hail him. Then you ask explained. And you'll get a Gairun's bag, which is a 4-slot container. Now you just go outside of Felwithe and talk to guard Highmoon. He's right to the left. Some people seem to have had some kind of faction issue with him, but I did not, so if you have bad faction, I don't know what to tell you. I was okay though. So the next step here, I'm going to go full screen to give a better sense of direction from the map. This is in Lesser Faydark at a Dark Elf camp. And you need to get an item, and it's on a table in the Dark Elf camp. The item you'll need is called the Teir'Dal Blood Pact, and it spawns on the table. And I'll just run here quick. Should be over here, right there. So picking that up should do, and it's on to the next step. Now in this step you need to find a guard named Guard Mandin, and the problem with this guard is that he doesn't really have a set spot. And I think the problem is structural with the quest, because he runs around and he aggroes a lot of the wildlife that goes through, and that leads him from his spawn point. So I had to bring in my druid to track him. There was also a point where he was stuck in the train itself, so I had to wait for a server reset. Now after you get that step done, it's onto the chessboard area and this NPC, Signus Boran. What's going to happen is you wait and she respawns as an undead, at 7 p.m. game time. I don't recall having any problems with this spot. This point was pretty easy. Now loot the Vampire Fang. Now it is on to Greater Faydark, and you need to find a guard. Guard Feyfear, and he's underneath a lot of the tree houses in the middle of the zone. So he's pretty easy to find. I believe the way it works is that you have to hail some of these NPCs before you find the item in different zones. So I believe it gives you some kind of invisible flag. Because I was wondering if you could just skip these parts, but I don't know if I would do that. This quest is already buggy enough, and sometimes it felt like this quest was being held together with duct tape and staples. So here we are at Guard Feyfear. And he will send you on to Crushbone, Clan Crushbone, to find the Orc Messenger and the Orcish battle plans. Okay, on to the spot where the Orc Messenger spawns. It is in the throne room. And he should have the Orcish battle plans, but there was a little bit of a problem with this spot because he only spawns at certain times. So let's see if I can just find the spot in the throne room here. So just come around the corner and he should spawn right there. And here's a spot on the map. And it's not known what exactly his respawn time is, or if he's triggered. Some people say they have to wait for him for a while. Sometimes he's just up. But he was just up here for me, so that was a good thing. So once the battle plans are looted, it's on to Steamfont Mountains and the next step. So just loot these. On to Steamfont, Bigilam, Wantilians, and he will need a mana battery class 6. So we'll just run quickly to where he is, right to the entrance of Ak-Anin. A little bit to the left of the entrance. There he is. So to find the mana battery class 6, I went to the Plane of Knowledge, used Find to find Nelin Signus, and that's a vendor that will sell the mana battery. Just up the stairs here. Right in the second door to the left. Nope, first door, second door. There we go. And purchase the mana battery. You just need one. Do the turn-in. So once you do the turn-in, he will give you a slain vampire's heart. Then it's time to do the combine. So you just combine all these items. The Pact, the Fangs, the battle plans, and the heart and Gairun's bag, and that will create another Gairun's bag. But this one is sealed. So now it's time to return to Gairun and do the hand-in. Make sure you have 6 players with you at least, and they have to be in the zone. And some reports say it doesn't matter what level they are, you just need 5 other players. So do the turn-in and go through the text dialogue. But be very careful at this part, because like I said, I did the first part of this quest in 2018 and I'm finishing it in 2022. Originally, the problem in 2018 was that I got to this step. I started the adventure, I requested it, and I got called away to do something, I don't remember what, and by the time I got back, the quest had despawned, like I could not get the quest again from him. I guess it expired or something. I was not prepared to go back and do all 4 steps again to get Gairun's bag. But I did it this year. I decided I was just going to finish it because I don't like to leave quests undone. So this should be the end of my 2018. And this is the start of my 2022, zoning into the adventure to fight Valdoon in Mistmoore Catacombs. This is a Lost Dungeons of Norath raid. So you'll need to come in here and fight Valdoon, get his heart. So here's the fake one. You have to face a fake one first. Let's see what the write-up says here. You must first find and kill the fake Valdoon, who hits up for up to 1200. This spawns the real Valdoon. Next you must find and kill 3 guardians, which take 5% health off of Valdoons per guardian. Finally go and kill the real Valdoon. He hits for up to 4k and procs a bunch of dots, I believe. There's also waves of gargoyles. Once he's dead, loot the Valdoon, kill Novar's heart, and a chest will spawn with additional loot. So, with all my characters here, there really wasn't any challenge at all. So, anybody doing this on the live servers, this is more of an annoyance than it is an actual challenge. Like I said, just make sure you don't mess anything up and have to do Gairun's bag over. So this should be the real one. I'll just send my mage pet in and switch to my ranger. And there he goes. Loot the heart. And there we go with that step. So as you can see, 4 years on, I have made a little bit of a change to my character, adding Hero's Forge. He's also a couple levels higher, so he'll look a bit different from now on. And I'm just going to do the turn-in, the heart turn-in. And in return, I'll get a token of cleansing. So the only thing I can say about this step was I wish the developers had made it so that you could re-request it without doing the bag all over again. Or given some extra time when you request it so it doesn't cancel so fast. Now, on to the next step, which is in Natimbi. You'll need to find Kemik Orlan. And luckily he's just right here when you zone in. So the lore behind this is that he is suffering from a disease and needs a set of prayer beads, but they're scattered throughout Norath and different temples, so you need to help him find all the beads. Now the first bead is in North Kinos. You need to go to an NPC that's located in the UFO. If you're familiar with Keynos, just do a search for Camland Serbold, and there should be a path that takes you right there. Actually, when you use find, search for Asted Wemore, because he's right outside the entrance, the teleport to inside the UFO. So just run up to the teleport. That'll lead you inside the UFO. There you can find Camland. Then you go through his text. We'll just go through the text here. And you should receive an unfilled set of prayer beads. It's a 6-slot container. I'll just type this in. I had to actually type out Kemik Arlen needs curing, and then I got the prayer beads. So I had to actually type that all out. I don't know if some of these prompts are working right. So the next step is also in North Keynos, and you need to find a quest NPC named Zika Ironforge. So just use find again. Should take you right to her, kind of. She will have the Keynos prayer beads. And there might be some kind of faction issue with her as well, but I didn't run into any issues. She should just be up here. She's like a regular merchant. Right and to the left. So just hand her 500 platinum. She's on Merchants of Keynos faction. And there is the first set of beads. Now it's on to Freeport, West Freeport. You need to find Aram Aluza, and he's in the Temple of Mar. So just use find, look for the big red X, and run in that direction. I don't think this one necessarily gives you the path, the golden path, but it does give you an X, which I don't think it ever used to do, but anyways, if you find the Temple of Mar, I'll just show you his location from when you enter. Go past the fountain. And the doorway to the left, up the stairs. Take another left. Got a little turned around here. But anyways, it's right there. So this one, just follow his text, and then you go up and find the beads on a table. They're at the top of a desk in a room. So this is another one you have to actually type out. All right. So once you type out Camlin Serbil sent me, the text dialog will start and you just follow it. And upstairs, there should be some prayer beads on a desk. Up and around the corner, and then in this room. Whoever this map maker was, he was very thorough, which made this quest a lot easier. So they should be right about here. And there they are. So once that is looted, it's back to Felwithe, and you need to find General Eel in a room downstairs in the Paladin Guild. This one presented a little bit more of a challenge for me. So I don't have the correct faction to actually get him to help me with the beads. And I'll show you what I did. So this is the guy you need. And it's supposed to be as easy as giving him 1,000 platinum and then 500 platinum. But if you don't have the faction, he's going to give you some kind of message. Or just not accept it altogether. Let's see. Right, he'll keep giving it back. So I saw a lot of different ways to fix this problem. I'll just show you quick the faction issue I have. I'm at Dubious. And I need to fix the faction. Either fix the faction or somebody gave a really good idea. I think this was on Alakazam's in the comments section. Just shrouding to a rogue. So just shroud, use a shroud to a rogue goblin. Now you have access to hide and sneak. So just create a hide and seek, 2 hotkeys. Now you can go back to Felwithe and do the turn-ins. Don't forget to get the platinum. I was skeptical about if this would actually work. So I just skipped his dialogue altogether. You go behind him, you click on hide and sneak, then you do the first 1,000 platinum turn-in. There is other ways to fix your faction, but I really didn't feel like taking the time to do that. So this is a clever workaround. The other way of fixing your faction is doing some kind of bone chip quest or handing in thousands of bone chips or something. But here we go, this actually worked. And now you have your prayer beads, your Felwithe prayer beads. So then when you deshroud, make sure to take the beads with you from the shroud bank. So there they are in your shroud bank. And now they're in your possession. So that was pretty clever. Now, on to the hardest one, which is in North Caladim. This one requires you to give a bottle of double brewed, double dry stout to a guard. I'll show his location here. So he's right up there. This is Dator and Nightseer. So he'll help, but he wants a bottle of stout. Just go through his text. So just write that out. I don't know if there's any faction issues with this one. The only one I had issues with was the Felwithe. Now, here is the item in question that he wants. And here are the brewing components. As you can see, the trivial is 226 brewing skill. The two items that will be the hardest to obtain are the Sand Verbena and the Purified Water. So you can look in the bazaar, maybe the bazaar has one. If not, you'll have to farm these items yourself. So the Sand Verbena, this is in Takish His. The LDONs, the Lost Dungeons of North zones, not the actual Takish His zone. I made that mistake, but anyways, Purified Water, here are the components for that. Trivial at 58. So that's not too hard of a combine. So trivial at 58 brewing. And what I'm going to do is show you what I had to go through to get this. So Celestial Essence, thanks to EQ Traders, they really gave a good recipe here, just using the Scent of Mar. Like I said, the first option is to check the bazaar, and second option, create it yourself. So in Plane of Knowledge, just do a search for Darius Gandril. He's a merchant that will sell the Celestial Solvent. And the good thing about Plane of Knowledge is all of these golden paths work, no matter what vendor you're looking for, so I think that's pretty nice. A lot of zones you go into, you just see the big red X. Do your best to follow it, but in Plane of Knowledge, everything seems to work. So here is the merchant. Just buy some here. And now on to the Scent of Mar, which you can buy from a vendor as well. Just look up Loran Felwithe, and he's close to the vendor that sold the Celestial Solvent. So there it is. Okay, now it's on to finding a mixing bowl. And I just did a search for Culkin Iron Stove. So this combine will need to be done in a mixing bowl. Luckily, you can just buy the mixing bowl. You don't have to actually create it. So the vendor's coming up here pretty quick. It's a middle vendor. Just buy the mixing bowl. Luckily, the trivial is only 15. So combine the solvent and the scent of Mar in a mixing bowl to get the celestial essence. There it is. Now buy a couple of water flasks. Same vendor. I'll just buy 100 of them. Now you have to do the combine in a brew barrel to create the Purified Water. And I'll show the location of a brew barrel. Just do a find for Brewmaster Verena. She's actually the NPC that is close to where the Drunkardstein quest starts. In March through May, April. So there's a brew barrel right next to her. Here you can do the combine for Purified Water. 2 water flasks plus 1 celestial essence. And there's the Purified Water. Now, at this vendor, you can also buy the other ingredients you need aside from the Sand Verbena. So you can get the cork, the hops, the yeast, the bottle, the barley. So now that leaves 1 ingredient, the Sand Verbena. And for that, it looks like I'll need to farm a Lost Dungeons of Norath North Row adventure. So I have forgotten how to do this because it's been so long since I actually did one of these. But you have to actually just go up, right click on this guy, and he should give you an adventure. It looks like you need to be the leader of your group in order to request it. I just did a collection, or a random. I haven't done one of these forever. If I remember from back in the day, you used to not have the type. You used to just like ask and it would be random. But they must have added this later on. If I remember right, we'd only want kill count and collection. We wouldn't want the escort missions or the other one. So we'd have to sit there like 5 or 10 minutes between requests. They must have changed this recently. So just zone in here, and I did this with one other character and a mercenary, so you don't need 3 real players. So the very first mob when I zoned in dropped it. Guess I had a lot of luck this day. So because the trivial is so high, I'm going to get out my main character and do the combine because I think he's at 250 skill in brewing. My paladin here is only, I think, 25 or 30. So get the old main out, go to the brewing barrel, do the combine. And if anybody wants to make a lot of platinum, I would have easily bought this item and skipped all this time wasting for maybe like 25 to 100,000 platinum I would have paid. So if anybody out there ever wants to make some money, and there we go with that step. Maybe some richer players would like spend more, but I think my limit would be 50,000. So now it's on to the Wraith Mountains. You'll need to find Shin Master Grubbus, the Paladin Guildmaster. He's a frog luck. So here he is on the map, and the mistake I made was that I went in through Lake Wraith. If you just go in through the Plane of Knowledge book, he's right there. That's what I should have done, but I didn't really realize that at first, so I'll make the run. But I won't show the entire thing because it's quite a distance. So now what he's going to request is a Quiver of Mar, and that's summoned by magicians. But I have a magician, so it's no problem. It's a simple level 53 spell, summoning a Quiver of Mar. So here's Shin Master. Just write out the text here. And I thought I'd check the bazaar quick, because a quiver could be there, but no luck. So I'm switching over to my mage and summoning the Quiver of Mar. Then I'll just hand it over. There it is. Now it's very important at this step to empty the arrows out of the quiver before you attempt the turn-in. I made that mistake. And he wasn't accepting it, so as you can see, I'm just destroying the arrows. It's strange he doesn't accept it with the arrows, because you'd think he'd want a quiver with arrows in it, but I guess not. So now just hand it over. And there you go. So the next step is in Erudin. This is a very easy one to get. Probably the easiest one. You have to find Recklin, Gairun, or Nelin. Maybe the G is silent. Just run and find him. He should be on the find button. And he's right up on the ledge. So just to the right. And all he wants is an iron ration and a mead. Which is really easy because there's a vendor in town where you just buy the items from. So I just went in here and went to the vendor. This one has both items. So then just do the turn-in, and you'll get the Erudin Prayer Bead. So that one was easy enough. Okay, after that is done, it's on to Ak Anin. And you will need to find Lewis Reldnock. So this step presented more of a problem than I thought it would. And I think it has to do with a bug on this step. First, I'm just going to find out his location here. So here we go. And I will just try to find his location. I'll just do a little bit of an edit here because I did a lot of running around because the path, the golden path there was messed up. So I had two main issues with this step. Number one is that, yes, I did find Lewis Reldnock. He's right here. But he was not responding to any kind of hails. So I believe that this step is bugged. And according to the write-up, he should have responded Yeah, according to this write-up, he should have responded, but he didn't. So I was wondering what exactly I was doing wrong. And then maybe I thought the write-up was giving me the wrong target. So it wasn't this NPC. It was the one back here. And strangely enough, this guy, he did respond with almost the same text. But this isn't the NPC. So I got no response from the quest NPC and mixed messages from this one. So I knew this was not the correct NPC. But after trying certain things, I decided to go back to Lewis Reldnock and try something else, or else this step was completely bugged and I could not get past it. So finally what I ended up doing was just typing out, I am looking for a blessed gem, and that seemed to work. Now comes the second problem. He tells you to sit before him, but when I sat before him, nothing was happening. You're supposed to sit down and then he's supposed to give you the gem. So it turned into me trying to figure this part out as well. Finally, I just sat up and down a few times in different areas, and that seemed to do the trick after about spending 2 or 3 minutes at this point. So as you can see, I'm trying different things. Trying to hail him and everything. Maybe say the quest dialogue again. I thought maybe that was the issue. But finally, just sitting over here did the trick. So this point of the quest was very bugged. But I'm glad that's over. So it's on to Rivervale next. And you'll need to find a Kea Cloudfoot and receive a note from her. So here I am in front of the Fool's Gold. So just find Kea in the Find button in the Find window. This should lead you right to her. And then just hail her and go through her dialogue. So with this next part, you have to find a deputy Cheel. It's a little bit complicated, so I'll try to explain it. The guide I was using did not mention that Deputy Cheel actually spawned from a different NPC. But I'm still thankful for the guide and the people who created all this, or collected all this information to actually put into a guide. I know it's a very complicated quest. So here's a note that you receive, and you need to find the deputy. And what I suggest is just using the Find button and finding Marshal Gabber, because he's in the same room where you need to find Deputy Cheel. So I'll show you exactly where he spawns, but odds are you'll find Deputy Millen's in his spot. So here's Millen. And at 5 a.m. game time for me, he respawned as Deputy Cheel. So this is the part where the guide I was using failed to mention the change. My guess is that they just had Cheel up when they wrote it. But nevertheless, here he is, and then you just do the turn in. So we'll just turn that in. And now it's on to the next step. So now I'm back in Natimbi to Kemik. So you do the combine, which is all the prayer beads. And this will cure him of his disease. So you combine them all in an unfilled set of prayer beads to create a set of prayer beads. Then you hand them back to Kemik, and it should cure him. So now that that's taken care of, it is on to Draenix Hollows. So here I am zoning into Draenix Scar. You get to Draenix Hollow by getting a task from Grand Historian Gersh. And I haven't done these in a long time, these Draenix Scars expeditions. They're kind of like Lost Dungeons of Norath, but they're a little bit different. They were released like a couple years later. But you get the expedition from the Grand Historian, but you have to get the right one. This will be the Murklider's Hive version. Don't get the Fire Pit one. If it gives you the Fire Pit one, just keep requesting until you get the Murklider one. The Murklider Hive. So as you can see, I'm in the correct expedition. This is Draenix Hollow Murklider Hive. This is the one you need. So on my map, you see the NPC you need to find, and she is located next to an undead rat named Muriday, the Plagued. But the quest NPC is named Anatal. So just run to the undead rat's location. In this case, I have my magician just using COH on my paladin. Take care of the rat. And here is the NPC you need, Anatal. So this step was bugged as well. Apparently it's been a long-standing issue with this quest, just looking at the history on Alakazam's. And I ran into the same problem others have, which is you can't hand this into her. She won't accept it. The trade window won't even open. This is the message that I got. So one step somebody suggested is that you log out and you log back in, and then you'll be able to do the turn-in, which actually ended up working for me. So here I am just logging out, logging back in, and as you can see, I can now open the trade window and complete this step of the quest. And I just thought I would show the actual post from Alakazam's and give credit to this person who thought up the idea. So thanks to Bayar for that tip. Without it, I don't think I would have been able to finish that step. So now it's back to Natimbi and Kemik. Just hail him and he'll give you the token of compassion. And it's on to the next step. That will be in the southern desert of Ro, South Ro. And this is just at the adventure camp. the Eldon camp. And there's the instructor you need to hail. Just go through the text, and you will need to find an NPC named Kaylee Ryan, and she's located on the other side of the zone. And with this step, you need to do this one by yourself, but if you're over leveled like I am, you don't really have to worry about it. It's just like 4 or 5 swarm of orcs coming at you. But I'm sure when the quest was current, this was a really hard part of the quest to do because you're not allowed any outside help. If anybody tries to help you, they will be teleported away and the quest will reset. So you're on your own here. At least with this part. So right at these ruins. Right in there. So I had the same problem at this point that I had at the last step, which is the quest NPC was not responding. This is what happened in Draenix's Hollow. You're supposed to hail her and a group of orcs is supposed to spawn, but that wasn't happening. So I did the same thing that I did at the last step. I had to log out and log back in and see if that would work. So this step is bugged, but the good news is that it did turn out that it worked. So I logged out, logged back in, and as soon as I did the hail, I got attacked by the spawn, the orc spawn. So here's me logging out, logging back in, and doing the hail. And that seemed to have done the trick, because here are the orcs that spawn, and the named Ramel the Black. And I was having a lot of trouble at this point as well, because there are actually 4 orcs that you're supposed to kill. And the first few times I did this, I did not realize that there was an orc right here out of the line of sight. So after about 2 or 3 failures, I had to look up various posts about this particular point, and somebody said that there is an orc out of your line of sight, and if you don't kill them, they'll just stack up and then you'll lose this part. So make sure you go behind this rock and get this guy, or else you'll keep failing. So there should be one more here. Make sure to get that guy. Not much else to say about this point. Depending on your level, this should be no problem. So now both Kaylee and Ramel, they despawn and respawn at a certain point on the beach, which I'll show on the map. Here's a message if you do it right. There's an orc camp right about there on the beach. So I'll just run there and finish up this part of the quest. So Keely and Rimal should be at this point. Southeast corner of the zone. And I guess this guy is pretty tough if you're not leveled up. I remember, wow, about 10, maybe 11, 12 years ago, I was running through South Row and they were doing this event, and my main got killed just from the AE that he uses. But now, just finish him off with my ranger. Only takes a couple seconds. As you can see, I'm getting hit with the AEs, but at level 100 plus, it really doesn't make any difference. And it's strange because after you defeat him, no chest spawns, and I guess that's been a long-standing bug as well. But none spawn for me. So just hail Keely. And then get Keely's brooch. So now run back to the instructor at the Eldon camp, turn in the brooch, and he will give you the token of chivalry. Now it's on to the next step. So here we are in Nigeria's Landing. Need to find Durham Fire Chaser. So he's right there on the map. I'll run there quick. And it's almost the home stretch of this quest. This one is a very long, probably my longest ever epic quest video that I'm going to make. I think my druid one went over an hour, but I'm not sure. This one definitely is going to hold the record for longest video. So you find Durham Fire Chaser, go through the text, say I am on a quest of truth, and then what deep trouble. And you will need to go to the Muramite Proving Grounds next to find his sister. Pisha Cloud Dancer. So here we are in MPG, and her location is right up here. And it's a simple escort mission when you find her. So you just need to bring her back to this point right at the entrance of MPG that leads to Wall of Slaughter without her getting killed. So I'm just going to run to her location, but again, I won't show the entire run just for sake of time. But here I am at her location. And the first thing you'll need to do is you'll hail her and she'll ask for her sword. Her sword is located in the room behind her. Well, first you type out Durham wants you to come home. And then that'll trigger her next line of text. So she won't follow you until she gets her sword back. And you'll need to defeat this NPC, Dyad the Devourer. It's pretty easy. Level 73. And then you loot Pashia's sword, which is right there. Now, apparently this step of the quest also has a long-standing bug. And I experienced it again, just like I'm experiencing all these bugs in the quest. You hand her the sword, and she's supposed to follow you, but she doesn't, so I'll just hand her the sword and go through the quest dialogue, which is just to follow, and she's supposed to just stand up and follow you, but she doesn't. So one workaround that somebody suggested is that you just train some mobs over the top of her location. And apparently that worked for me. So when you escort her back to the entrance to Wall of Slaughter, just make sure she doesn't take any damage. She doesn't actually help fight. But if you're on the live servers and you're doing this, I'm pretty sure that you're high enough level so that you won't have any trouble just escorting her back and just killing any mobs that get in your way. So I'll just show a little bit here of how she just follows you to the entrance. I had no problem with her getting caught on terrain or anything, so it was pretty straightforward. So now here I am at the entrance to Wall of Slaughter, and this is where you do the final hail. She'll give you the note from Pasha. And that's it for this step. Now return to Durham Fire Chaser. Turn in the note, and you should receive a token of heroism. So you saved his sister from the Mermite Proving Grounds. And she got her sword back, so that's good. So at this point, what you're going to want to do is get a Globe of Discordant Energy from the Citadel of Anguish, the 2.0 orb. I have a whole video on soloing that. A lot of times guildies, just anybody on the server will help you out to get one. I won't even show it here, but this is the last step and it's in the Plane of Sky. And like I said, in 2018, I spawned this guy to start the quest, and now in 2022, I was having a little bit of a problem here, because in the years since, I'll show you the NPC that you need to spawn. There was a change where he has some kind of asterisk in front of his name, and the NPCs that you need to spawn him are somehow linked to him, so you need to be the one to actually spawn him and do the turn-in. Okay, hopefully I can explain what happened. So Inte needs to spawn and you need to do the turn-in. The problem I was having when I was trying to do the turn-in is he wasn't accepting it, so I had to do some searching on the forums and across the internet to find what happened. And apparently in 2019, I think thanks to the progression servers, the gift that keeps on giving, only the person who spawns him can do the turn-in, or somebody who is in your group. Now the problem I was having was that I did have somebody in my group who spawned him. I tried to do the turn-in, but it wasn't working. So I don't know if that information is incomplete or what exactly happened, but I looked and looked about a way to solve that problem, and finally I came across a guide to the Plane of Sky saying that if you have a wizard and use a certain spell. Let me see which spell it is. It looks like it's Alter Plane Sky, a level 46 wizard spell. If you just have a wizard in your group down where you spawn Steelhand, Dracog Steelhand, you won't zone out, you'll just zone up to the top. Because I found that when I zoned out, Entei despawned on me. But to make matters worse, there was also somebody else in the zone in Plane of Sky that was mucking around on Pegasus Island, so I don't know if that person messed up the spawn or what exactly happened, and I apologize for incomplete information on this part, but this is the only workaround that worked for me. So I spawned Entei on Island 4, also known as Pegasus Island. I'm running up to his spawn point. Be sure to get the keys beforehand, but if you started this quest, the very first step up here, then obviously you have the keys to each island. I do. It also helps to clear the island beforehand. That might help. So now finally, I'll get up to where Entei spawns. Hand in the 2.0 globe, the globe of discordant energy. And now he'll give you a quiver and 2 other items. Then you just combine all of these items in the quiver along with your 1.5 redemption. Let's see if I can find it here. Now, as soon as you combine them, you will have finished the quest. And you have your Epic 2.0. So quest complete. There is the achievement. And I'll just equip it quick. Here's what it looks like when equipped. A lot better than the 1.5. It has some particle effects, which are really cool. And what I'm going to do is just place it in my guild hall. It'll make a nice addition to my collection. So I'm working on just having a collection of epics in my hall. This will fit nicely right here. So that's it for the Paladin Epic 2.0. Some parting thoughts. I understand that the quest is really old, and I really appreciate that it is even still running after 20 plus years. I did find it extremely buggy, and I think only somebody who would know where to look could actually finish this quest. So I don't know, it's a great quest, it's involved, it's amazing, but it's extremely buggy, and like I said, it's just barely being held together. But I did it, and hopefully everybody else who watches this video and is doing the quest as well can finish it too. Any questions or comments, leave them below, and have a great day.